The rain poured over New York City that night, like the sky was grieving something it couldn't explain. Inside the grand glass-walled restaurant at the top of the Hudson Tower, a man in a perfectly tailored suit sat alone at a corner table reserved weeks in advance. His name was Ethan Carter, the 32-year-old CEO of Carter Industries, a man whose face had been on Forbes covers, whose every decision could make or break markets. Yet at that moment, as he glanced at his watch for the third time in 15 minutes, he wasn't thinking about profit margins or mergers. He was thinking about love, something money had never been able to buy him. It had been his assistant's idea, a blind date. "Sir, you've been alone for too long," she had said with a smile. "Just one dinner. You never know who you might meet." And so, reluctantly, Ethan agreed. A table for two at La Belle Étoile, the most romantic restaurant in Manhattan. A candle flickered before him. The waiter had already refilled his glass twice. It was supposed to be a simple evening, but she never came. As the clock struck 8, Ethan sighed and looked out the window. The city lights glimmered below, and his reflection stared back at him. A man with everything, yet empty inside. He was tired of the fake smiles, the women who saw his wealth before they saw his heart. Maybe this blind date would have been different. Maybe not. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Before we continue, cloud with rain if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of unexpected moments. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to our channel, Hopeful Stories. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Sparkling heart. Ethan rose from his seat, ready to leave, when the door burst open. A girl stumbled in, drenched from head to toe. Her clothes were simple, a faded blue dress clinging to her shivering frame, a pair of worn sneakers that squeaked against the marble floor. Her brown hair was plastered to her cheeks, and her eyes, wide and uncertain, scanned the room. For a moment, no one moved. The restaurant's golden glow made her seem completely out of place, like a fragile raindrop in a room full of diamonds. The hostess rushed forward, ready to escort her out, but Ethan's gaze locked on the girl. There was something in her eyes, something raw, desperate, human. Before he knew why, he spoke softly. "It's okay. She's with me." The word surprised even him. The girl looked startled, but nodded slowly. The hostess hesitated, then stepped back. Ethan gestured for her to sit. She did, timidly, her hands trembling as she wiped her face with a napkin. Her name was Lila Dawson, a 24-year-old waitress from Brooklyn. She had been on her way to a job interview, soaked through by the storm, and stepped into the restaurant just to escape the rain. She had no idea she was interrupting a CEO's private evening. Her voice was soft when she apologized, but Ethan only smiled, a rare, genuine smile he hadn't felt in years. Something about her presence disarmed him. Maybe it was the honesty in her eyes, or the way she looked at everything with awe instead of judgment. The waiter arrived awkwardly, asking if they were ready to order. Ethan, amused, told him to bring 2 of the house specials. Lila tried to protest, but he gently insisted. "It's already done," he said. As the meal arrived, she couldn't help staring at the plates, delicate food that looked more like art than dinner. "I've never seen anything like this," she whispered. Ethan chuckled, realizing she wasn't trying to impress him. She was just being herself. Between bites, they talked. Or rather, Ethan listened. Lila spoke about her life, her mother's illness, her struggle to pay rent, the job she worked just to keep the lights on. She laughed about how she once spilled coffee on a customer's expensive coat and had to use her week's wages to replace it. Every word she spoke carried truth, and every smile hid exhaustion. Ethan found himself leaning closer, captivated. For the first time in years, he wasn't Ethan Carter, the CEO. He was just a man, listening to a woman who reminded him what life outside boardrooms felt like. Hours passed unnoticed. The restaurant emptied, and the rain softened to a drizzle. When the check came, she panicked. "I can't let you pay for me," she insisted. "I shouldn't even be here." He smiled gently. "Then consider it a thank you," he said. "For what?" she asked, puzzled. "For showing me what real looks like." She stared at him, confused but touched. Then she left quietly, with nothing but a whispered thank you. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. Something about Lila lingered. Her laughter, her honesty, her eyes that saw him as a person, not a price tag. He looked at the empty seat across from him and realized he wanted to see her again. Days passed. Work consumed him again, but his mind wandered to her. He didn't even know her number. Yet fate, once again, had its plans. 1 week later, as Ethan visited a community outreach center his company sponsored, he saw her. Lila was there, serving soup to the homeless, her hair tied back, smiling as if she carried the sun inside her. Ethan froze. For a moment, he just watched, the same girl who had walked into his world by mistake, now spreading warmth to those who had nothing. When she finally saw him, she gasped. "You?" He nodded, smiling shyly. "You volunteer here?" "Every weekend," she said. "It's not much, but it helps me feel useful." Ethan felt something shift inside him. All his years of charity galas and donations felt hollow compared to the way she made people smile. Without realizing it, he started visiting every week, at first to check on the project, then just to see her. Slowly, their friendship grew. She told him about her dreams, studying nursing, finding stability, caring for her mom. He told her about his late parents, the loneliness that came with success. They were from two different worlds, yet somehow, they understood each other completely. One day, he surprised her with an envelope. Inside was a scholarship letter, her name printed neatly at the top. "What is this?" she whispered. "An opportunity," Ethan said softly. "A full scholarship to nursing school. You deserve it." Her eyes filled with tears. "Ethan, I can't accept this. It's too much. It's not charity," he said. "It's belief." She looked at him, speechless, and for the first time, he saw her heart break open. Not from pain, but gratitude. She hugged him tightly, whispering, "Thank you." Months turned into a year. Lila studied hard, and Ethan visited often, sometimes bringing her mother groceries, sometimes just sitting by her side after long shifts. The once distant Zoe now found peace in the humblest corners of Brooklyn, surrounded by people who didn't care about his title. And somewhere along the way, friendship quietly became love. But love rarely comes without tests. When news broke online that the billionaire CEO was dating a poor girl from Brooklyn, the world turned cruel. Tabloids mocked her. Social media tore her apart. Gold digger, they called her. Charity case. Lila tried to ignore it, but Ethan saw how it broke her spirit. One night, she told him through tears, "I don't belong in your world." He took her hand. "Then I'll leave that world for yours." But she shook her head. "You can't. You've worked too hard for it." The next morning, she disappeared. She quit her classes, changed her number, vanished from the city. Ethan searched everywhere, for weeks, for months, but she was gone. A year passed. The company grew, but Ethan didn't. He was hollow again, haunted by what he'd lost. Every time it rained, he thought of her walking into that restaurant, soaked and trembling, changing his life forever. Then, one cold evening, as he was leaving a business meeting, he saw her again, standing outside a small hospital in Queens, wearing scrubs, holding a clipboard. Her hair was shorter now, her face thinner, but her eyes, they were still the same. "Lila," he whispered. She froze, turning slowly. When she saw him, tears instantly welled up. "Ethan," he stepped closer, voice shaking. "You became a nurse." She nodded. "I had to. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." He smiled faintly. "And I never stopped believing." That night, they talked for hours under the soft glow of the streetlights. Lila told him she'd run away because she didn't want to ruin his reputation, but life had taught her that love, real love, wasn't about what others thought. It was about who stood by you when the world turned away. Ethan took her hand gently. "My blind date never came that night," he said, his voice breaking. "But maybe she was never meant to. Maybe fate sent you instead." Lila laughed through tears. "By mistake." He smiled. "By miracle." The rain began again, soft, cleansing, timeless. And for the first time in years, Ethan didn't feel alone. They walked together through the quiet streets. Two hearts once broken, now whole again. Sparkling Heart, if this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Hopeful Stories. Every click helps us bring you more tales of faith, love, and second chances. Sparkles before the story ends, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below. Do you believe in destiny, or do you believe we make our own miracles? Years later, a new restaurant opened in the same spot where their story began. This time, the name on a reservation list wasn't Mr. Ethan Carter, CEO. It read, Ethan and Lila Carter, Anniversary Dinner. As they sat together, watching the city lights below, Ethan lifted his glass and whispered, "To the night my blind date never came." Lila smiled softly, and to the girl who walked in by mistake. Outside, the rain fell again. Gentle, endless, beautiful. Because sometimes the best things in life don't arrive on time. They arrive by accident, just when your heart needs them most. Red Heart.